People are visiting your website. They're reading your content. They're even staying longer than you think. And then they leave without contacting you. Not because your website is bad, not because your pricing is too high, and not because you need more traffic. They leave because something feels off. And most business owners never figure out what that is. Here's the part that might surprise you. More traffic will not fix this problem. In fact, it usually makes it worse, because you're just sending more people into the same experience that's quietly turning them away. In this video, I'm going to break down what's actually happening on your website and why people hesitate at the exact moment you expect them to take action. If you've ever looked at your analytics and thought, why is no one reaching out? Stay with me, because the answer is not what most people think. I've been building websites and working in digital marketing for over 20 years, and during that time, I've worked with businesses that had almost no traffic, but converted consistently. And I've also worked with businesses getting thousands of visitors with almost no inquiries. Same tools, same platforms, completely different outcomes. What I've learned is this: conversion is not about volume. It's about perception. And perception is something most websites get completely wrong, because they focus on what they want to say instead of how the visitor actually feels when they land on the page. That gap is where conversions disappear. Here's why this problem is so common. Most business owners are told the same thing: get more traffic, improve your SEO, post more content. And to be fair, those things do matter, but they only solve one part of the equation: getting attention. They don't solve what happens after. So what happens? You invest time, money, effort to bring people to your website, but no one talks about the moment where the visitor pauses and asks themselves, can I trust this? Is this for me? Is this worth reaching out? That moment is silent. It doesn't show up clearly in your analytics, but it's where the decision is made. And if your website doesn't answer those questions instantly, people leave. Not because they're not interested, but because they're not convinced. Let's simplify this. When someone lands on your website, they're not analyzing it logically. They're scanning, they're judging, they're feeling. And within seconds, they're asking, do I understand this? Do I trust this? Do I see myself here? If any of those answers are unclear, they hesitate. And hesitation is where conversions die. This is where I'll say something that some people may disagree with. Most websites don't have a traffic problem. They have a clarity problem. Because when your message is vague, your offer is generic, or your positioning feels like everyone else, the visitor has no reason to act. They don't reject you, they just move on. Let me challenge you for a second. If someone landed on your website right now, would they immediately understand who you help, what problem you solve, and why you're different? Or would they have to figure it out? Because if they have to think, you've already lost them. And here's where this gets even more interesting. Most websites are designed to look good, not to reduce doubt. And that's a big difference, because design doesn't build trust, clarity does. So ask yourself this: are people leaving your website, or are they hesitating and choosing someone else? There's a difference. People don't contact businesses when something feels uncertain, and uncertainty shows up in subtle ways. Vague headlines, generic messaging, stock-style positioning, no clear next step, no visible proof or reassurance. None of these feel like major issues on their own, but combined, they create friction. And friction doesn't push people away aggressively. It just slows them down enough to do nothing. That's the real problem, because most business owners are looking for obvious issues: broken pages, bad design, technical errors. But the real issue is psychological. Your website is creating just enough doubt to stop action. Let me ask you something specific. When you look at your website analytics, are people actually spending time on your pages, but still not contacting you? Because that's the signal. Not low traffic, not bounce rate. It's attention without action. If you're seeing that, there's a strong chance your website is creating hesitation somewhere. And I'm curious, where do you think that hesitation is happening on your site? Is it your homepage, your services page, your contact process? Here's the shift I want you to walk away with. Your website is not just a place where people get information. It's a place where people decide whether they feel confident taking the next step. And confidence is fragile. It doesn't take much to lose it. You don't need a complete redesign. You don't need more features, and you don't necessarily need more traffic. You need alignment between what you say and what your visitor needs to feel. Because the moment your website removes doubt, action becomes natural. And until that happens, you can keep increasing traffic, but you'll keep seeing the same result. People visit, they look around, and they leave. Not because they weren't interested, but because they weren't sure. And in business, uncertainty is the silent killer of conversions. And if you would like more tips on running a smooth, profitable web design business, please like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any valuable tips. My name is Fabio Peters. Until next time, take care.